Léon Bonnat's painting, commonly referred to as Portrait of a Sheik, was created around 1870 and stands as a notable example of 19th century European engagement with Middle Eastern themes. The work presents a single, commanding figure, a sheik, seated in a position of authority. He occupies the center of the composition, his form framed by a richly patterned carpet beneath him, and surrounded by objects that evoke a sense of wealth and status. The sheik's gaze is directed outward, but his expression remains reserved, contributing to an air of dignity and self-possession. The overall effect is one of gravitas, achieved through both the subject's posture and the careful orchestration of light and shadow. Bonnat's use of color and texture is immediately apparent. The sheik is draped in a vibrant red robe, which draws the eye and serves as a focal point within the painting. Over this robe, a yellow and white cloak falls in heavy folds, rendered with meticulous brushwork that suggests the richness and weight of the fabric. The artist's attention to detail extends to the intricate patterns of the carpet, the sheen of the sword across the sheik's lap, and the subtle textures of the saddle and other equestrian gear placed nearby. These visual elements work together to create an impression of authenticity and specificity, even as they reflect a European interpretation of Middle Eastern culture. Bonnat's approach to this subject was shaped by his experiences and artistic training. Born in 1833 in Bayonne, France, Bonnat rose to prominence as a portraitist and painter of historical scenes. His academic background is evident in the technical precision and compositional balance of his work. Between 1868 and 1869, Bonnat traveled extensively through Egypt and the Holy Land, regions that held significant interest for European artists and intellectuals of the time. These travels provided him with an opportunity to observe and record the people, landscapes, and objects of the region. He filled sketchbooks with drawings and notes, some of which would later inform his studio paintings. However, it is important to note that this particular painting was not executed on site. Instead, Bonnat returned to France and worked in his studio, synthesizing his travel sketches, objects he had collected or studied, and the use of models, likely French, posed in Middle Eastern attire. This method was common among European artists of the period, who often relied on a combination of direct observation, memory, and imagination to create works that would appeal to Western audiences. The resulting images, while detailed and convincing, were often shaped as much by European artistic conventions and expectations as by first-hand experience. Examining the sheik's costume more closely reveals further layers of meaning and artistic decision-making. The red robe, with its deep, saturated hue, conveys both luxury and authority. The yellow and white cloak draped over the shoulders adds contrast and visual interest, while also suggesting a layering of garments typical of traditional Middle Eastern dress. The head covering, a keffiyeh, is secured with an agal, a black cord, accurately referencing regional attire. These elements are rendered with a tactile quality, the brushwork capturing the play of light on different fabrics. Yet the overall effect is less an ethnographic record than a carefully constructed image, blending observed details with generalized motifs that would have been familiar to European viewers. A spot zoom on the sword reveals its central role in the composition. Resting across the sheik's lap, the sword is both a literal and symbolic object. Its polished metal catches the light, drawing attention to its presence. In the context of 19th century Orientalist art, the sword often served as a symbol of authority and martial prowess. Here, it reinforces the sheik's status as a leader, while also reflecting a common European stereotype that associated Middle Eastern rulers with power maintained through force. This motif appears in numerous works from the era, highlighting the ways in which visual symbolism was used to communicate ideas about other cultures. Other objects within the painting contribute to the narrative. The saddle and equestrian equipment placed nearby suggest a lifestyle associated with mobility, wealth, and command over both people and animals. These items, like the costume, may have been based on objects Bonnat acquired or sketched during his travels, or they may have been copied from published illustrations and travel books. Their inclusion adds to the painting's sense of place, but also reflects the artist's process of assembling a scene from disparate sources. Bonnat's handling of light and shadow is a defining feature of the work. Employing chiaroscuro, a technique that emphasizes the contrast between illuminated and shaded areas, the artist creates a dramatic effect. The sheik's face is partially veiled in shadow, which lends an air of mystery and seriousness. The light falling predominantly on the robes and foreground objects accentuates their textures and colors, guiding the viewer's attention toward the central figure. The background, rendered in deep, unobtrusive tones, serves to isolate the Sheik, heightening his presence and focusing the composition. This use of light not only demonstrates Bonnat's technical skill, but also reflects his academic training and interest in realism, tempered by a desire for theatrical impact. The painting's style and subject matter place it firmly within the tradition of Orientalism, a genre that flourished in 19th century Europe. Orientalist art typically depicted scenes from the Middle East, North Africa, and parts of Asia, filtered through Western perspectives and often shaped by prevailing stereotypes. These works were popular among European audiences, who viewed them as windows into exotic and unfamiliar worlds. However, scholars today recognize that Orientalist images frequently reinforced simplistic or inaccurate ideas about the cultures they portrayed. In Bonnat's painting, the emphasis on the Sheik's authority, the prominence of the sword, and the depiction of luxury and power all align with tropes that were common in European representations of the East. It is also important to consider the broader context in which such paintings were produced and received. During the 19th century, European powers were expanding their influence in the Middle East and North Africa, and cultural representations often reflected or reinforced political and social hierarchies. Paintings like Bonnat's portrait of a sheikh were part of a larger visual culture that shaped Western perceptions of the region, sometimes obscuring its complexities and diversity. While Bonnat's travels provided him with some direct exposure to Middle Eastern life, the resulting artwork ultimately catered to European tastes and expectations. Turning to the painting's provenance and current status, public records do not provide a complete history of ownership for this particular work. Its present location is not documented in widely accessible sources, and it may reside in a private collection or remain untraced. Léon Bonnat's paintings, however, are held in museums and collections around the world, including the Musée Bonnat-Helleu in Bayonne, which houses a significant number of his works. Paintings from this period, especially those reflecting Orientalist themes, continue to attract scholarly attention for both their artistic qualities and their role in the history of cultural representation. The value of such a painting today extends beyond its material worth or market price. It serves as a document of its time, offering insight into the ways in which artists like Bonnat engaged with the world beyond Europe. At the same time, it invites critical reflection on the limitations and biases inherent in such representations. Contemporary viewers may appreciate the technical skill and visual impact of the painting, while also recognizing the need to approach it with an understanding of its historical context. In reflecting on the significance and legacy of Bonnat's portrait of a sheikh, it is clear that the work occupies a complex position within art history. It demonstrates the artist's mastery of portraiture and his ability to evoke character and atmosphere through composition, color, and light. Yet, it also exemplifies the ways in which 19th century European artists constructed images of the other, blending observation with imagination and convention. The painting prompts ongoing discussion about the intersections of art, culture, and perception, reminding us that works of art are shaped by the context in which they are created and viewed. Through careful study, we gain not only a deeper appreciation of Bonnat's skill, but also a more nuanced understanding of the cultural currents that shaped his art.